Welcome to the Cash Flow Project Podcast. Are you looking to better your financial situation by increasing your cash flow? Too busy to hunt for real estate deals or don't know where to start? Then you're in the right spot. Join us as we dive in and talk about investing for cash flow using multifamily real estate.
Welcome to the Cash Flow Project. I'm your host, Vince Skethings with Tri-City Equity Group. Today on the show, we have Tim Vitale. Tim is a multifamily syndicator in the Southeast with currently 147 units with another 81 under contract. He quit his full-time job in September of 21. So that's only 2 months ago at the time of this recording. So we're going to dig into that. He was a assistant VP of Finance for a Fortune 500 insurance company in Manhattan. He currently resides in Wilmington, North Carolina, and owns assets in the Carolinas, Georgia, and Alabama. Tim, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, man.
Awesome. So I am very excited. You're living the dream of literally what this podcast is all about, of reaching or achieving financial freedom and independence and quitting your W-2 with, using real estate as the vehicle, or at least a big portion of that vehicle to reach financial independence. So let's just dig right into it. So tell us about yourself, what your journey was, and how you got to September 2021.
Thanks. Pleasure being on the show. And, I hope that my story resonates with a lot of your listeners because I'm not that much further ahead than anybody else that's listening to this. I know that there's probably some beginners in there and some more experienced people, but, it happens pretty quickly. And I started my real estate journey in, single families in early 2019. I bought one single family house, absolutely hated the process, closed on it. I get burned on the appraisal, all to make like $150 a month. I was like, this is not worth it. On the appraisal for that property, there was the income-based approach. And that was the number I was expecting it to be based on the comps that I pulled. But obviously there's some subjectivity there and the finishes and blah, 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 blah. And that didn't work out. So I went down the route of trying to figure out this income-based approach. And I found out that was commercial real estate. And with my background in finance, I was the assistant VP of Finance for a Fortune 500 company. I worked on Wall Street for a little while, which was a cool experience. And, I just understand income, expenses, P&Ls, balance sheets, financials. And when I learned that that's how multifamily and commercial assets are valued, I knew that that's where I wanted to go. And even when I was in the single family world, I knew I wanted duplexes, triplexes, and quads, right? And then when I started learning about commercial multifamily, 5 units and up, that's when it really hit home that this is where I was meant to be. And I cut the cord with the single family stuff beginning of 2020. And I closed on my first deal, my first multifamily deal in August. It was Friday the 13th, Friday the 13th, 2021. And things quickly scaled from there. I was a part of that deal. I do the asset management. I was brought in by my mentors actually in order to do the asset management for them. And that was mid-August. And since August, we've closed on 3 deals and we've got another 2 under contract. Stabilized value of all of those properties is around 30 million, and purchase price, transaction price, if you want to call it, is just over $19 million of transactions since August 2021. So it's scaling really, really quickly.
That's awesome. These are all in like the Southeast?
Yep. North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, and 2 in Alabama.
Nice. Huge. I love the scale of it. So how big is this team? So you're not doing it by yourself, right?
Absolutely not.
So
partnerships are make the world go around.
Yep. So you have a team. The role you're filling on the team is the asset manager. How many people are total kind of on this team?
Which deal? Because I have my own company.
Okay.
Yeah, they're all kind of different.
So
I kind of have like my, more or less. Yeah, I have kind of like my core group of guys that we, like to do deals together with, but I'm not married to any one of them.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, got it. So your approach is, this is the value you bring to the table, but you're not creating like you said, like a marriage of that there's only 4 of us and we're going to do every deal together. But it's more or less like, hey, the opportunity, we can do this deal together. But then if this opportunity in Alabama comes, with this other group, I can peel off and go do that deal and just bring value to their table.
Absolutely. And I think that that's important because deals are hard to find right now. And you have to have an understanding with your partners. Like, yeah, like I love doing deals with you guys, but if you don't like this deal and I do, or somebody brought this deal and I have an opportunity to make a little bit more money, I'm going to go do that. And they're absolutely fine with it. And I think that that's important as well, because when you have a partnership that's a marriage, right? You create one LLC together and you guys own it 50-50. Well, there could be some animosity that stirs up over time because, well, maybe my net worth has grown significantly more than yours because you're spending all your money on liabilities instead of assets. And I'm the one signing on the loan and I'm the one doing all the work, but you're still getting 50%. Right. So the way that we have it structured is because we're all free agents. We just kind of work together. Every deal is, all right, well, what do you want to do? What are you bringing to the table? And we have kind of like the same buckets, like the GP percentages go into the same bucket all the time. And it's all right, well, what are you bringing to the table? And this is how much you get of that deal. So there's never any animosity that somebody's not doing their work or somebody's not bringing enough to the deal and that they're getting carried along. And I think it just makes for a better transaction for everybody because, if I decide to go my own way and, things go sour with those partners, which I don't think it will. And I hope it never does. But if it does, then we don't need to sell all of our assets in order to, continue to do deals. I can just, all right, well, we're just not signing the next loan together.
Yep, exactly. And it's very important that the foot stomp that every deal deserves its own structure. I wholeheartedly believe that you don't want to do like the 50-50 partnership on all deals and everything like that, because every deal is going to be different. Every deal is going to be, to your point, like I might have 20% of the down payment or something on this deal, but on the next one, maybe I can't bring that because, now I'm, cash poor, I'm illiquid. So maybe I only can bring 5%, on the next deal. And we're talking about the equity side of it, but the compensation needs to adjust for the actual value you're bringing in every single deal. And it keeps everybody honest, keeps everybody hustling.
Right.
You're compensating on the value you're bringing to the deal. So,
right. Yeah. I mean, because of the argument that I get back all the time is that it averages out over the long run. And that might be true. Right. Okay. But what doesn't ever average out are those bad feelings that you've ever had because somebody didn't pull their weight and you're doing their work for them and you're not getting paid for it. So every single deal, and every multifamily property is a business. You're buying a business. So treat it like one, right? Every single individual deal is its own business. What are you bringing to the table? How are you going to make this specific transaction in this business successful, and you get paid in a direct relationship of that sliding scale.
Exactly. So set it up before you get into a deal, preferably like this. This is how the compensation structure is, and you can bring the value to these different buckets, like you mentioned, and that's it is what it is. But and then every deal will be its own. But having that conversation before you get into a deal is the best place. All right, so let's get back on track here with that. Good stuff. Go back a little bit. So what's the why? Like, why did you want to build passive income? It sounds like you were making pretty decent living with the Fortune 500 company, VP of Finance.
It was just okay. It was like, I quickly felt the ceiling, and I think the biggest sour feeling that I had was when I got promoted to an officer title, assistant vice president. I was like, this is when I make it. This is when I'm going to have life-changing money. And I got like a 2% raise. But they were like, oh, but now your benefits, like everything's tripled with your life insurance and this, that, and the other thing. And I was like, those only benefit me when I'm dead. So thank you. That's fantastic. I love it. And it was just those golden handcuffs, and then I just, I got restricted stock options, which for those of you that don't know, it's kind of issued to your high level executives and they're earned over a period of like 3 years, typically vested over 3 years. And it was just like corporate chains, to try to keep you to stay, to keep you to stay, to keep you to stay. And, I was just like, I need something more. I didn't feel fulfilled. Right. Mm-hmm. I mean, I was just sitting behind a desk doing spreadsheets all day about things I didn't care about. Like I didn't care about insurance, it's just like, it just paid the bills, and I did that for 10 years. And I was like, there's got to be more to life than this. And most people meet me. I'm very outgoing. I'm an extrovert through and through. And people meet me and they're like, dude, you're an accountant. I'm like, yeah, I'm an accountant. And I was in the wrong field. I needed to get out there. I needed to talk to people. I needed to build relationships. I needed to feel a sense of fulfillment. And originally got into real estate because I wanted to make more money. I was chasing money freedom, like most people are. As you kind of grow and develop and almost mature in a way, you find out that it's time freedom you're really after. Money freedom allows you the time freedom. And that's really what you want, right?
Yep.
And then after that, I was like, okay, well, if I have money freedom and I have time freedom, what else is going to drive me forward? And I don't have any kids or anything like that right now. And my why that got me past all of that is my sense of fulfillment that I get from helping other people, by coaching other people, by helping them do their first deal, by letting them borrow my belief and my mindset so that they can believe in themselves, that they can do deals, that they can, do anything that they set their mind to. And you really need somebody to lift you up to get you through that. Because when you're first starting in real estate, I mean, I'm sure you're drinking from a fire hose and it feels overwhelming. And it's like, how does anybody do this? And now, now we're looking at $2 million, $3 million deals. And I'm like, oh, that's it. Only 2 million, 3 million. But like a year ago, I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do with $1 million deal? Like, I can't raise that much money. Now I'm like, well, it grows and it scales. And it's because I borrowed the belief from my mentors, and I had awesome people on my team that had different skill sets, and we came together in order to, build something awesome. And we're just getting started, man. I mean, I closed my first deal in August that my mentors brought me in on. Then we closed another deal 2 weeks later, so they were all kind of like lined up already. Like we didn't just like get it under contract and close it in 2 weeks. But, we closed August 13th. Then we closed another deal at the beginning of September. Then we closed another deal at the, kind of sometime in October. Now we're closing another deal either later this month in December or early January 2022. And this next deal that we got under contract, that one will probably close in February. So, it's like month after month after month after month. We got multiple LOIs out, multiple contracts out. I mean, you never know when one's going to hit. You could have another deal, or you might not have anything for a little while. So, it's pretty remarkable to see how those things scale. And what led me to that success was meeting mentors and meeting coaches and being part of masterminds. And I wanted that sense of fulfillment by helping other people achieve their goals. And I said it on another podcast that I was on, was I wish I had somebody like me to talk to when I was going through all of this, because, I'm just trying to be the person that I wish I had in the world when I was going through all of these different kind of experiences and things. And, if somebody doesn't do it, I have to do it. Right. It's like a calling for me that, be the person that you wish you had growing up, or maybe not even growing up, because, I didn't have any of those issues. But, when I was trying to decide on what I wanted to do with my professional life, that's where, I kind of plug in.
Yeah, absolutely. And especially with the, linking in with the coach groups and mentorship groups and everything, that a lot of it's like, it's not just about the information. Obviously the information and lessons learned and best practices is huge to growing a scalable business. But a lot of it is the energy that you can pull off of being around those groups of people is powerful. It's hard to explain, but when you go to like a networking event or, a conference or something like that, and you're in a room of 400 people that are, jazzed up about commercial multifamily real estate, and the energy in the room just really high, and they're all trying to, they all have these whys. They share stories and share, how they're doing stuff. Deals get happen in the lobbies and stuff like that, in the bar down in the hotel. That's really hard to explain, that energy side of it, like going to these groups and stuff like that, and being able to pull, like you leave, I leave those conferences or whatever, those meetups, those boot camps. And like Monday morning, I'm just slammed. I'm like, my batteries are charged. I'm all jazzed up. I was just in a room with 400, 500 people that are all, very inspiring people. They all have their own journeys and they all have their own whys, and still they all found that multifamily real estate is the best vehicle for whatever their why is, whatever their goal is. This is the best asset class to get them to that goal. So very exciting stuff. So you got some deals under contract, huh? You want to talk about those? Is it too early?
Yeah, right now we're working on raising money. I mean, I just scheduled like 5 phone calls today with different investors. I've been on the phone literally back to back to back to back.
Yep.
We're raising. It's a very small raise, $800,000 raise for
What's
this
the
deal in
deal
Mobile.
size?
It's 2.1 million purchase price.
I mean, like unit.
It's a 34 units.
34 units. North Carolina.
No, it's in Alabama, Mobile,
Alabama. Nice. What's the strategy on that?
It's the best value add I've ever seen, because even the property manager that we're using was like, I've driven down this road so many times and I've never seen this property, and it's been here since the 70s. And after we started going through, doing our due diligence and walking every single unit, he was like, you have a B plus location and you have the absolute worst tenants, and like C minus, maybe a couple D's in there. And he was like, I can see the university from here. He was like, you're literally in the best area. And the good thing about that property is that almost all of the tenants are on month to month right now. So we can pretty much go in there and give 30-day notices and start rent bumps, and if they don't like the rent bump, sorry, get out and we'll renovate it. And, that's definitely going to accelerate our timeline in order to get the rents to our pro forma number. But yeah, I mean, going in there, I mean, it's a tenant-based turn, management play. The current management is not great. They don't really kind of vet out expenses. Expense ratio is incredibly high. The rents are $300 below market rent. I mean, average rents there are like $550, and you could get $900, $950 at today. And it's doing simple interior stuff, paint, flooring, kitchen countertops, vanities, bathroom, just cleaning up the unit, really, right? And charging back for water, and then renting them out. I mean, it's like a $400,000 rehab budget. And most of that is because we have to pigtail some aluminum wiring issues that we have and redo a roof. So, total budget's like 400 grand, and buying it for 2.1. And in 3 years, it'll be worth like 3.3 million. And we're returning like 80% or something of investor capital. And hopefully we can do more than that.
So you're saying returning as in you're into a cash out refi?
Yeah, cash out refinance, and they still own their equity piece. And I mean, that's the biggest thing that I believe in, is the velocity of capital. Is if there has to be some kind of refinance event in 12 to 36 months, somewhere in that period has to happen, because you want to take that money and you want to redeploy it into another deal. So now your original, let's say $100,000 investment is now working in 2 different deals simultaneously, and that's how you really start stacking up, the equity checks when you start exiting those properties. And, the cash flow is great, but the cash flow is nothing. It hails in comparison. It's nothing compared to the equity check that you're going to get from the debt pay down and the appreciation.
Yeah, especially if you got another deal lined up for them when you do that.
Right.
You do that cash out, like, oh, here's your 100 grand back, and just so you know, here's a pitch deck of this 50 unit we have that's coming up.
Yep.
And
it just cycles like that quickly. Yeah. And I can't tell you, I mean, I just got started recently. I mean, I'd like to think I'm a very professional person, and I know I'm very valuable, but I didn't have the experience to back it up. But now, with being able to do a couple deals and like my partners seeing the real value that I bring as an operator, they're just like, holy crap, we're going to reevaluate some of the partnerships we have prior to you, because you set the bar at a whole another level. And, if you can build that reputation, like I've had investors, I had a phone call with one today, and he was like, I introduced you to my business partner. They're on the phone. They're interested in investing in the deal because I invested in a deal with you already. And it's like, I don't even know this person, and it grows organically. And it's like, the law of the first deal is so incredibly true. It's so powerful.
Yeah, it really is. So what's the law of the first deal? It's after the first one, the next one's come in rapid succession. That's pretty much what that is. Yeah. And I've lived it, so, we closed our first big deal in 2020. And then it was like for Q1 of 2020. And then by like Q4 of 2020, we had like another 4 done. So we did our first syndication, and then it was like 6 months of kind of figuring everything out, building, getting the systems, the processes, getting a couple quarters of operations that we can use as kind of like a case study. And then going into Q3 2020, it was like, boom, 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 like 4 deals by the end of the year. Like, and, we went up five times our portfolio in the last half of last year. So It absolutely is true. Good stuff. It's very, very exciting. You found your niche. So how did knowing the different roles on a sponsorship team, just the basic ones, you have the deal finder, you have the deal finder, at-risk capital, equity, KP, and like asset manager, acquisitions manager. How did you assess, what your strengths and weaknesses were to figure out, okay, this is the best value I can bring to a team, knowing that kind of these are the seats that need to get filled?
So the first thing I did was I talked to a lot of different people. And when you talk to a lot of people, when you grow your network, you kind of find out what some people are good at and what they like to do. And the more that you talk with them and the better relationship that you have with them, you start to realize the things that you don't like to do are the things that they like to do.
Mhm.
And it took about a year. Truthfully, it took about a year in order to have a good relationship built with my partners now. But now we know, like I knew going into it with them, like what they were good at, what they didn't like to do. And it was surprise, surprise. It was the things that I didn't like to do. And it kind of just develops over time. It's not like I sat down and wrote down a list of pros and cons and things I liked and didn't like. It's just like, the more you talk to somebody and you're like, well, wait a second, I had some ideas of it, because when you're a solopreneur, you think you got to do everything, right? So then you start talking about things out loud and you get feedback from other people and they start telling you different ways to do things. And you start to realize like, hey, this guy's way better at this than I ever am going to be, right? So I know like my partner, Tim, he is really good with systems. He's really good with technology. He's good with, connecting with brokers. He's really good at finding deals. He's not that great at underwriting deals. I'm really good at underwriting deals. And he's really good at negotiating deals. I'm not the best at negotiating deals, right? Because I get frustrated. I'm like, well, no, the current income times the cap rate, is this. Like, this is what it's worth. And he like is very good at kind of taking all of that stuff removed and thinking at different high pictured levels and things like that. So it's really hard to say. It's not like I ever just kind of were like, all right, I want to do acquisitions. It just we all kind of fell in line with time and doing a couple of deals and kind of figured out where everyone sat in the partnership agreements of who's good at what, who excels, who likes doing these things. And it's apparent too. Like when you're doing something that you are really good at and you like a lot, the quality is going to be amazing. When you're doing something that you don't like doing, the quality is going to suck. And when you start, kind of shifting around jobs between your different members and your different partners and things like that, and you're like, dude, you dropped the ball on that. And then it finally comes out to light. I don't really like doing that. It's like, well, why didn't you say that? I like doing that, And it's it's kind of like a little bit of a dance, right? You gotta have to figure out, who do you like to work with? Who would you invite over for Sunday dinner? Now, what are they really good at? What are these guys really good at? And it's kind of like a, jigsaw puzzle. You gotta put everything together and everyone falls into the right spot that they're supposed to be in and everybody's happy. When everyone's happy, that's the most productive, best work you can actually, you can produce.
Yeah, absolutely. Everything you said is completely accurate. I would add to that, making sure that everyone's goals and values and their timeline aligns with yours as well. Because, one of the things I've seen on some partnerships where, their ethics or the values don't align with mine, and they're willing to, get into some gray area stuff and that I'm not willing to do. Well, that's going to cause some issues on how decisions get made.
Yes,
Especially
absolutely.
with, your money and then investor money too. And you want to be very clear on this is how we're going to operate with these set of core values. So making sure everybody kind of embodies the similar core values that you do. But then another one is the goals and timelines. And this is the one I've seen that it kind of hits. And the example is like, if everything that you said aligns up, right? They're in the role that they like doing, they're productive, they're crushing it. But what if their goal was only, $4,000 a month passive income to supplement their retirement or something like that, their pension or whatever they got. And your goal was like $20,000 a month income in 5 years to live your best life, right? And travel the world, whatever it is, but you need 20 grand. After you guys get that 4 or 5 grand a month cash flow level, what do you think their work ethic's going to be
Yep.
To that partner that is, hey, I hit my goal. My goal was 4,000. We're at 5. I'm sailing off into the sunset. Like, I'm good to go. Why? And their productivity like plummets. Like, they're on cruise control. And a lot of people are like, oh, that's not going to happen. I've literally seen it in real time. Like, boom, it happens. And it's like, where's this guy? He stopped showing up to meetings. Like,
dude, I want to expand on that, because you hit some really good things. And until you said it, like, I just had that realization right now. So thank you for saying it. One of the things, the core values that we've all agreed upon and will never change, well, I think they'll never change, is that we don't do hard money day one, no matter what. If they want hard money day one, in my eyes, they're hiding something, and they want to, kind of have you right where they want you, so that you can't back out of the deal. But they know something, that they're hiding something, right? And that could be my skepticism. And other people are okay with doing hard money, and that's fine. Like, that's just not a deal for me. The other thing is, I will never, ever, ever model a compressed cap rate on exit. I don't care what market it is. If it's Miami, Florida, I'm still going to decompress that cap rate when you go to exit, because you just literally have no idea what's ever going to happen. You don't have a crystal ball, and I will call you out every single time if you do that, because it's just wrong. And if it does go down, awesome, you crushed it, right? I mean, your investors are happy, you're happy, everyone's making a ton of money. But if it doesn't happen and you didn't model it to decompress, you're screwed and your career's done. So that's two things that we've agreed upon. And those are like, unless it's like a really like a one-off situation, it would be very hard for me to ever say that I'm, going to write a hard earnest money check that goes hard day one. And then the other piece is, I've experienced the latter part of, I've hit my target and I'm just going to kind of cool off now. Well, what we did was we kind of rearranged, again, remember back to what we were talking about, is what do you bring to the table, right? For each and every deal. Mm-hmm. That's fine. If you want to cool off, that's fine. What can you bring to the table still that meets, that's still in your bucket of being cooled off, but helps the group? And one of that thing was, for one of our guys, all he does is sign the loans now. That's okay, because I want more asset management. I want more due diligence. I want to be out there because I'm hungry. And he's okay with getting a smaller percentage of the deal because he just wants to sign the loan and kind of be on easy street. And that's fine, right? It's just, you got to have those conversations, and they're difficult conversations. But if we had a marriage like we were talking about, where each of one of us owned, 50% or a third or whatever, however it's structured, you can't do that, right? Yeah. So that's why it's important, that I feel it's important that everyone has their own company and they just do deals together. And it's, it is what it is, on a deal by deal basis.
Yep. I think that's a great policy to have. As well as you're building your own brand, you're building your own legacy. I love it. All right. So let's get into some of the ugly stuff. So what are the biggest mistakes you've made so far? And it doesn't need to be real estate, but like maybe just in your professional career, and or real estate.
I mean, I don't want to be the cliche answer and say the biggest mistake I made was not getting started earlier. I mean,
but you just said it.
Well, that kind of goes, everyone kind of assumes that. I would think that my biggest problem that would actually have an impact on your listeners is that I thought the only way to get into a deal was by finding a deal. And that's not true. That my biggest mistake was all I focused on was finding deals, and I'm not good at finding deals.
Yeah.
You know what I'm good at? I'm good at making deals find me for whatever strange reason. And it's because I've positioned myself in the social media community of, being able to raise money and write earnest money checks and analyzing your deal and doing the due diligence. So let people go out there that are hungry to find deals. Let them go find a deal and bring it to me, and I'll tell them if it's a good deal or not, So I've kind of positioned myself that way, and it works out really, really well. And one of the first deals that I had gotten into, I didn't find the deal. I didn't even raise any of the money. I had just a really good relationship with somebody. So the biggest mistake was being closed-minded with how I could get involved into a deal, because there's so much that goes into each one of these businesses. There's a lot of seats to fill, and just having a really good relationship with somebody could open up a possibility for you. And I know it's true because it happened to me.
So was that before or after you joined a mentorship type thing?
They weren't even really mentors. When I met them, they didn't know that they were going to be my mentor. I told them afterwards, I was like, when I met you guys, I knew that you guys were going to be my mentors. And, it just happened. Like I just provided value to them. I helped them grow their Facebook group, and I helped them out with pieces of their course. I built an analyzer for their course, and I never asked for anything in return ever. Like they were like, let me pay you for this. I was like, nope, I don't want it. I don't want your money. They're like, what's your Venmo? I was like, oh, I guess I don't have a Venmo. It's like those types of things. And then when they were growing at an exponential pace, they're like, hey, we need a little bit of help. We're kind of running out of time. Who's the first person you think they thought of?
Yeah.
Me, because all I did was provide value and help them out. And I never asked for anything in return. So that's how they came to me and asked me to be part of my first deal. And then from there, the law of the first deal took place, and boom, 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 boom. Lots more deals after that.
I love it. So you embodied the go-giver mentality.
Yeah.
And just providing value. The law of reciprocity will take care of itself. And
that's right.
It sounds like you're living proof that that's a real thing. So that is
Absolutely.
awesome. All right. Well, that's kind of all my main questions I had. I don't think there's anything else before we get into the fire round that's exciting. So what's next for Tim? What's 2022 looking like?
So we got some deals already lined up to close in Q1, right? So Q4 sets up Q1. We'll know who took off November and December because they're not closing anything in early Q1.
Me, I'm not closing anything. I'm 0 for 3 right now on LOIs.
That's rough, but
it sucks.
It is. It sucks. I'm hoping that some more stuff comes on the market, and we'll see what happens. Everybody likes to sell in the springtime and in the summer, so that's the rental season, and everything looks nice, and the grass is green.
Yeah,
it's easier to get top dollar during that time of year.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, what's next for us? So, working on growing my Facebook group, making moves in multifamily. My partner, Tim, and I, were working on a mentorship / coaching program. And it's not really like, it's really kind of like almost a mastermind setup where it's a very small group. Like we're only going to do like 10 people. It's going to be really small. It's going to be really like high accountability. My network's your network, right? Like we want to work with people to help them get deals done, because we have a very big network. I mean, the types of people I'm connected with that, can make things happen, and people need access to those types of things. And they want to borrow mindset. They want to borrow experience. They want to borrow beliefs. They want to borrow a lot of different things from people that they know, like, and trust and look up to. So we're making a small group of people that we can help inspire and help them progress their businesses overall. And, hopefully we'll see where that goes. I mean, I'm not trying to be like a Jake and Gino, but that sense of fulfillment that I'm chasing in order to help other people, like this is kind of the first step in the right direction for me to do that.
I love it. And it's just going to open up more doors for you, more doors for the people you bring on. Everybody grows together, just making a bigger table. I love it.
And it's more personal, right? I mean, if it's a smaller group and it's more personal, you'll actually make an impact, right? I mean, and I'm not saying that you don't make an impact in a bigger setting, but it's not what I desire. So I want to keep it small and intimate, and like, you do like a little event with everybody, and you really foster some really strong relationships in that type of small environment.
And that's absolutely true. The biggest thing, not the biggest thing, the hardest thing that I've kind of assessed after doing this coaching thing that I do the last couple of years is the accountability piece of it. So it's not the knowledge. I can jump on calls and just kind of lay out everything that they need to know about everything, look at their business and find out exactly what they're doing wrong very quickly, coach them up, give them the SOPs or the best practices and stuff like that. But getting people to hold themselves accountable is definitely the hardest thing that I've assessed. So if you can solve that problem of doing those small group accountability, where everybody, they feel obligated to do what their part is because they don't want to let the group down, this 10, 20 person group down, I think it'll be absolute gold. That's kind of one of the biggest things I see is people holding themselves accountable is very, very hard.
One of the other things too is in a small group, you can be heard. Not everybody excels in large groups. Maybe 10 people is too big for some people, right? I mean, it's when you're heard and you can have direct one-on-one conversations with people that are doing exactly what you want to be doing, it's invaluable, right? I mean, yeah, you put a dollar amount on it because your time is worth something and everybody's got to eat, right? And nobody gets anything for free, but being able to have that precise one-on-one-ness, or even like a 1-on-5 or something like that, you just have better conversations because it turns into kind of like a think tank situation.
Yep, absolutely. I love it. That's all I got for the main part of the show. You want to get over to the fire round?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay, so same questions we asked everybody, and first thing comes to mind. So what is your favorite book that you recommend other than Rich Dad Poor Dad?
Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss.
Great book. Outstanding book. I got a whole show I was on a whole podcast just for that book. I read that book while I was under contract on a 48 unit, and I ended up getting like a super like VIP session with Chris Voss. And he coached me up. I told him, hey, this is the situation I'm in. It was like March 2020. The world was ending. And he's like, here's some points. Boom, 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 boom. And I wrote them down. I made like a 7-page kind of, you know, how he's like in the book where it's like, you know, write down every single thing that you think they're going to say, write it down, and then come up with a counter for that. So you're ready, like, and for negotiating. And I was like 7 pages by the time I'm done. And then he, you know, jumped on the call with him. I was super grateful for, and was able to negotiate like a $90,000 seller credit. But the deal was only like a $1.5 million deal. So $90,000.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was a $1.5 million deal, $90,000 seller credit. And it was like 3 days before closing. Like in the middle of like the world ending COVID, like March 2020.
Wow.
So
that's impressive.
Yeah.
The close second, I mean, could never split the difference. Clearly is near and dear to your heart, just like it is to mine.
Yeah.
And the other one that absolutely changed my life is Who Not How by Dan Sullivan.
Yeah, I haven't read that one. I got it on my shelf. I think Jamie Gruber recommended it earlier this year, and I got it, but I haven't got to it.
Absolutely. Those two books.
Got to get it. But yeah, Pitch Anything, what is it? Never Split the Difference. Yeah,
Never Split the Difference. Pitch Anything is good too.
Yeah, it's good too. I like the audio for that one because it's hilarious. All right, moving on. I'm not doing good at this fire round.
No.
What is your superpower?
Networking. I don't know why. I can really go into a room and meet every single person and introduce myself, and I don't feel like, I guess because I'm an extrovert, but multiple people have told me that my superpower is being able to network with people that are way above my league and fit in for some reason. I don't know how I do it, but yeah.
No, it's good. That's a good thing to have. What is the biggest lesson you've learned over your career?
Your network's your net worth, man. Like, you know, like I said, I don't look for deals and I don't look for money. Deals and money find me. And how do I do that? By growing my network. And, you know, I continue to grow my network and find more deals and find more money and more opportunity.
Good advice. And for the busy working professional who is working towards financial freedom, what advice or tips do you have for them?
You got to make it a priority, right? I mean, if you're working your W-2 job, I hate to say it, but you got to figure out how to do less, and you can focus more on real estate. And, you know, being able to make the phone calls with brokers and make the phone calls with investors and go to the events that, you know, like Vince and I go to. You need to get in the room with people. You need to talk to people. You need to grow your network, and, you know, you got to focus on it. And how bad do you want it? You know, like I would wake up at 5 a.m. I would read books from 5:30 a.m. till 7, because that was the only time I could get a very mentally tasking job during the day. AVP of Finance, like you're not just walking through the park with that, right? And by the end of the day, I was like Jello mush. Like I couldn't like focus on reading a book that I was trying to learn something, you know, like a new subject in real estate and, you know, like learn all different new topics or whatever. So I would read in the mornings and then work all day. And then I would network at virtual events and go out to like meetups and things like that. And I would analyze deals and email brokers all night, like till like 11 o'clock at night. And then I'd get up at 5 a.m. and do it all over again, right? Because I wanted it that badly. So you just got to be clear on what you want and take action on it.
And you hit it. I'm going to foot stomp that. Is how bad do you want it? That's the first thing. The one excuse I hear from everybody is, I don't have enough time, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you just don't want it bad enough. You'll make the time. Right. You know, I did it. I did, you know, full-time military, and I, you know, figured out how to do it. We got nights, we got weekends, because my why was so strong that not doing anything, not taking massive action was not an option.
It's worse.
Right? Yeah. It's like, what's worse is I sit here for another, 10, 15 years, with this ceiling, like you said, I see the ceiling of my growth and it's right above me. Like, I know I'm not going to grow past this point. And just looking at that, abyss of what, those golden handcuffs are. Just seeing like, that's my other option. Like, sit here and do this. And I can see, with looking at your colleagues, that's, maybe 10 years your senior, you're like that's what I got to look forward to. Like,
that's what I don't want. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. I mean,
the guy that's been divorced twice and has an alcohol problem.
Right.
Yeah. Like,
and
that's
your
where
why, your why at first can be materialistic. Like, I knew that, I was like, okay, well, I told you I was chasing money freedom at first. It was like, I'm not going to be able to buy that Lambo, that Ferrari, or that, 72-foot sport fisher, boat. Like, I'm not going to be able to afford any of those things working this $110,000 a year salary. Like, no, this isn't, what else do I need to do in order to get there? And it's okay if it starts out to be materialistic and then you start to learn, materials are great and having those things are awesome, but having your time and having your freedom and doing what you want, when you want, with who you want is far, far more important.
Absolutely. Love it. Couldn't have said it better myself. Well, that's all I got. Thanks for coming on. If you have anything for our guests, where can they reach out to you if they want to?
Yeah, so look me up. Facebook group is Making Moves in Multifamily. You can find me on LinkedIn, or you can go to my website, www.upsidecapitalgroup.com, and there's a Calendly link in there, as well as an investor portal if you're interested in becoming a limited partner.
Awesome. Love it. Well, thanks for coming on, and I'm excited to see you at the next event.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, Vince. I appreciate it.
All right, that was a great show with Tim. Definitely check him out at his website, his Facebook group. Definitely has a great story of how fast that once you get committed to do a thing, he chose commercial multifamily because it is the best vehicle in town. It's the best game in town to reach financial freedom. Nobody's going to tell me anything different. And he started in 2020, and September of 21, he was able to leave his W-2 after just a few transactions. So very, very powerful stuff, real world example, not some hyped up hoorah crap. He was literally there explaining, how he did it. And just, a year and a half, he was able to step away from a W-2 job. So, it's a perfect example of what this industry can do for you and your family. So awesome. Thanks, Tim, for joining the show and sharing your story. Good luck with those 81 units under contract and crushing it in 2022. Looking forward to that. And if you're interested in investing with us, go to tricityequitygroup.com to learn more, to connect with like-minded investors, join our Facebook group, Honolulu Multifamily and more. If you found value in this show, subscribe. Please write a review. It really helps us out. Grow the page, grow the group here, the podcast, and we're everywhere on Apple, Spotify, Stitcher. We're on all the venues. So wherever you're listening to this from, please like, subscribe, share it with friends, family, and please give us a good review if you found value in this show. So thank you very much. And I got to do another plug here for the Hawaii Millionaire Mindset Conference, the Blueprint. It's going to be huge in Ko'olina, Hawaii. That's on the island of Oahu, July 21st to 24th, 2022. It's going to be an amazing conference. If you can get out there, please join us. It's going to be at the Four Seasons. Ko'olina has many resorts, got Disney, Alani, Four Seasons, a couple other nice resorts there. Definitely going to want to bring your fam and your golf clubs, because world-class golfing there, hiking, boating, everything. If you're into snorkeling and diving and that kind of stuff, it has everything. So come join us, industry leaders for commercial multifamily. My mentors are coming in. Tri-City is going to be leading the real estate section of it. Our partners, Bandit Brothers, is going to be leading the business, scaling business and franchising section of it. And we're going to put it all together and give you the blueprint for really scaling big. It's going to be super exciting. So see you there, July 21st, 24th, 2022. All right. See you next time.